All right. Hey, everyone. Mark here. Mark P. Markets. Thank you for joining me for another Bitcoin video analysis session. Today is Tuesday instead of Monday because yesterday was a holiday. So I moved the stream this week just to Tuesday, just for this week. Next week, I will be back on the regular schedule, which is on Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. So real quick, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Let me briefly explain how this thing works. So real quick, I'm going to run through the economic calendar so we're aware of any important events that may come out throughout the week. Second, we're going to go over the Bitcoin chart analysis here. We're going to talk about the important levels. We're going to talk about concepts and scenarios, which I also outlined in my TradingView article yesterday, which hopefully you read. And then we're going to go over the Trade Scanner, okay? Trade Scanner Pro. We're going to take a look at if we can find some trades so I can demonstrate how it works and talk about the free trial and all that stuff. Okay, so with all that said, let's get started. Okay, so this is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. All right, cool. So let me just say hello to some of my regulars here. We got Stian. Hey, Nader, how are you? Okay, cool. No problem, you guys. Wow, I guess it's a quiet day, huh? There's only like a handful of people. I feel like I'm doing a student meeting. Speaking of student meetings, I'm going to schedule one for this week. I haven't scheduled it yet, but I'm probably going to stream that as well and make it available to non-students. But and the key feature there will be the replay that you can watch at your convenience will only be available to students and members, Trade Scanner Pro members and things like that. All right, so anyway, so first things first, before I get into the economic calendar, I just have to mention something real quick. If you check the links in the description, you'll notice we have a few more links in there. Okay, so let me explain what's going on here. So first, we have the Bybit and we have the MEXC link and we have the TradingView link. All right, those are Stian's affiliate links. So if you're interested in an exchange, you're looking for an exchange to trade with, consider one of those links. Stian gets a small commission every time you place a trade after you fund an account. Also, if you're interested in signing up for TradingView, there's a link there as well. That's Stian's affiliate link. He gets a small cut of the commission. Plus, you get to save $15 or whatever. The platform, you don't need TradingView, the premium platform, to use the trade scanner. Okay, listen again, you don't need it, but it has limitations. The free version has limitations, right? One limitation, for example, is the notifications are delayed. So that doesn't, that kind of takes away from things. So if you are interested in a paid version of TradingView, consider that link. It helps Stian out. You'll also notice there are some cryptocurrency wallet addresses in there. If you'd like to help Stian out, but you're not interested in TradingView or setting up an account at one of these exchanges, you can just donate to him if you want to. It helps him support the community more. It's your way of saying thank you. I mean, the guy puts in a lot of extra work. For example, this week he sent me, or actually sent me a little earlier, but this week I was able to get our free script out on my profile, which is the trade calculator, the trade exit calculator. Now, he took that upon himself to put that together on his own time. He sent me the code and then I shared it. Okay, it's a free script that you can use to find trade exits, which is based on the ATR. Okay, so again, if you want to show thanks for that, you want to show him some appreciation, consider making a donation in Polygon or in Ethereum, and he'd be very thankful for that. And plus, again, it helps him support the community. He handles all of the technology, all these great things that we have. It's his work behind that. So again, that would be much appreciated. Okay, so also make sure to check out the Discord link, right? We have a free community area. Check that out. And if you want to take the Trade Scanner Pro for a trial, there's a 14-day free trial for Trade Scanner Pro. I'll go over that more as we go through the stream, but there's a link in the description. Check that out, and we'll talk about it soon. All right, so let's move on here, and let's get into, also, if you want to share what city or what country you're from, that's always a fun fact. I'm streaming from the greater New York City area, also known as Northern New Jersey. Okay, so that may explain a lot of things. So anyway, okay, yeah, that could be Nader, because again, this is not my usual streaming day. Hey Giovanni, good to see you. All right, So, okay, cool. I'm just looking at the comments here. I am paid on TV and still getting, oh, that's strange. Okay. That, that could also be, there's a number of reasons for that. But okay, thank you for pointing that out. But there are limitations on the free version. Like, for example, you can only set one notification, not multiple. But other people don't seem to have this problem. But anyway, all right, let's move along here. We'll talk about that. I want to get into the economic calendar real quick, and then we'll talk about this chart, which I will make bigger in a moment. So, economic calendar, it's a very quiet week. We are in the 4th week of May, okay? We just got through a holiday. The holiday usually lingers throughout the week. It's not just one day. We can consider this a holiday week, which means lower volume. Lower volume typically means lack of momentum. And that's usually not a great environment to be looking for trade scanner signals. All right. But we're still going to look for some today as we go along here in the session. So stick around for that. Now, the only things that I saw worth mentioning in the calendar, you could check any economic calendar. It doesn't matter which one you check. I saw that we had on Thursday, we had, what was it? Something, the US number was the GDP year over year or something like that, which again, it's not a major market mover because GDP is like it's an after the fact number. So it's not non-farm payrolls. It's not an FOMC meeting. It's nothing. It's not a big market mover. So I won't really worry too much about that. I saw some other things like for Japan and for Great Britain and stuff like that, but those numbers are not that important. They don't really move the market in a major way. All right. So don't get confused by that. All that stuff is for mainstream news outlets to have something to talk about. Please don't get confused by it. Also on Friday, there was, what was it on Friday? Something core consumer expenditure, blah, 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 blah. Again, not a major market moving number. All right. The only events that we're looking for each week are non-farm payrolls, right? That's usually the first week of the month. We're looking for CPI, PPI, any FOMC type of meeting, any testimony from Chairman Powell. Those are the things we're looking for. Other than that, if those things aren't on the calendar, it's a quiet week. All right. So just keep that in mind. Maybe a stock comes out with something, but that's not an economic report. So that's it on that. Let's move along, right? Before I put you guys to sleep. All right. Next, let's make this chart bigger. And let's talk about Bitcoin, shall we? Now, if you've been following my article over the previous couple of weeks, follow my articles on TradingView, I've been basically pointing out, right, this situation over here, okay? What I usually do on the charts is I draw an illustration. This is an illustration right here, this line. This is the scenario that I anticipate for the week or two. Now, understand something. My analysis is for day traders and for swing traders. It's not really meant for investors. It only looks out about a week, maybe 2 weeks at most. If you look any further out than that, chances are the market will be completely 100% random. There's no way to know where the market will be going that far out. Anything can happen because why? Some piece of news can come out of nowhere and change things. So a chart is not going to tell you where the market will be a month from now. And all these people that claim otherwise, they're fooling themselves and they're fooling you. So please keep that in mind. It's just unbelievable to me how gullible people are and how they just believe in whatever. Oh, I told you Bitcoin, I called it 6 months ago. It's called coincidence. All right. Anyway, so that's what this illustrates. Now, this is one scenario out of countless scenarios. The market doesn't have to follow my scenario. It's the one that I suspect based on what? Context. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about context here. So, I drew illustrations over here that basically illustrated this situation, right? We got the push into the 70K resistance. And since then, we were talking about that a week ago, the 70K resistance. I remember asking the people here, is 70K area a place to buy or a place to sell? Everyone agreed it was a place to sell. Well, we were correct. You guys were correct. But it's pretty obvious from the chart. Charts can help give us some clues about the future, the short-term future, but only clues, suggestions, things to potentially anticipate. But the key is the market must confirm, okay? Context is having a good grasp of trend and support and resistance levels. If you're getting all mixed up with oscillators and lines and blah, 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 you're just wasting your time, right? All you need to know is trend, support, and resistance levels. That right there is enough information to make adequate decisions and manage risk. And the key is managing risk. So as far as context goes, we're coming off of the 70K resistance. This selling activity that we're seeing here should be no surprise to anyone, right? So again, like anyone that was calling this long, saying, oh, 80K by next week, they're just selling you training programs or whatever. Like, don't be gullible. This is a resistance. Probability favors a pullback. We're getting the pullback. All right, that's all that matters. So risk for longs is very high at these levels on this time frame. You should not be thinking long on this time frame, although the trend is bullish. There's no question that the trend, the bigger picture trend, even this smaller picture trend, from this higher low to this higher low, that's bullish too. But we're still getting bearish price action. We're getting a pullback because we have a resistance. Now, this arrow that I have on my chart here, that points to an inside pin bar. Okay, it's an inside bar, which was a long signal. This is how I define a long signal right here. But this is a low probability long signal because you're going right into this resistance area. Perhaps if the long signal appeared up here after the break of resistance, like if we got it like up here somewhere, then it would make more sense, but not into the resistance. That's very high risk on this time frame. Perhaps there are day trades in there, but day trades are on another time frame. They're not on this time frame. So you have to make sure you keep the time frames separated. All right, now, as far as my scenario for this week goes, I anticipate the pullback to 66K because that is where we have some activity, right? This is where charts are helpful. They show us what occurred previously, and we may be able to anticipate a similar behavior there in the near future. That's what that is. So 66K is a support level. I would consider it on this time frame a minor support level. But that type of context or key piece of information can help you on multiple levels. If you're a day trader, for example, and price pulls in to 66K over the next couple of days, your small time frames are going to be bearish, okay? But you're pulling into a major support level on a 1-minute chart, for example. On a 5-minute chart, that's going to be a pretty significant support level, not a minor one on such a small time frame. If a signal confirms there to go long, that would make sense to go long at this location as a day trade. Of course, you're not going to hold that trade all the way up to here. You're only looking for a few hundred points. This is where a tool like the Trade Scanner Pro is very helpful because really what the Trade Scanner Pro is a confirmation tool. That's the best way to think of it. We'll talk about that more in a moment, but let me just show you something here real quick. I'm going to turn the Trade Scanner Pro on. This is on the daily time frame, right? I want you to see something here. It called a long on May 2nd, okay? The Trade Scanner Pro called Bitcoin a long right there on this time frame. It had about, 8,000 points of risk. This is where the stop was. This is where it told you to put the stop. That was about 8,000 points, right? After that long, which was called here at like 62,900, whatever it was, 62,950, it pulled back a little bit, right? That's like a couple of thousand points. So you have to understand your time frame, right? You don't want to have a large position and watch this pullback. You're going to get shaken out or margined out, right? But the trade almost went to its take profit. It missed it by like 600 and something points, something like that. I mean, that's not bad. Okay, and that's been pulling back ever since. Not bad. There was a lot of profit potential there, right? And that could have been helpful for some people that work on this time frame. Now, I have the trailing stop off. Look where the trailing stop is. The trailing stop happens to be right at my support level, right? The 66K area. You see that? Anyway, that's the beauty of the Trade Scanner Pro. If you were long from that low price and you managed to hold this whole time, hopefully you took something off the table here. Even though you never made it to the take profit, you should just be in the habit of taking something off the table because you know your context. You should not follow this tool blindly. I see some people, they do that. right? And then by the kind of questions that I get or the kind of behavior I get from them, it's like they expect the tool to tell them the future. It's not meant, no tool can do that. It doesn't matter what, if any tool is based on formulas that come from a chart, it's not going to tell you the future. All right. So people are expecting like the easy button. You must apply context. So the tool can be helpful for beginners, but on larger time frames, kind of like this. And it can also be helpful for more advanced traders. Those are the people that should be looking at smaller time frames and using things like counter trend mode. Those are advanced modes for people who understand context. Okay, so please understand that. So if you're just like brand new at this and you just started out like a month ago, don't even sign up. Okay, learn some context first. Do something, learn support and resistance, because this tool is not going to help you. And I don't like seeing they sign up and then they cancel, and it's like, why are you wasting everyone's time? Don't do that. Learn something first. The tool is not going to make you a good trader just because it's calling signals. Those are confirmations. You want to know the location of those confirmations, right? So for example, in this situation on a small time frame, this would be ideal for short setups. So if you are in a bullish mode on a smaller time frame, for example, like a 5-minute, you should be in counter trend mode to look for shorts around the 70K area. All right, it makes sense. All right, we'll talk about that more. But anyway, I just wanted to show you a quick example on the daily time frame. You could use the TradeScanner Pro on any time frame, but like I said, the smaller time frame, it's going to be harder. The more context you need to know. Anyway, so I'm anticipating the pullback to the 66K area. If 66K is taken out, then we're looking at 64K area. We're looking for longs there. We're looking for confirmations there. All right, and then maybe we get this next leg higher from there. I don't know if we're going to get the next leg higher. I just suspect if we push a support, we test a support, and we confirm a long signal, since the general trend on Bitcoin is bullish, okay? I mean, this is the general trend. And this here is a higher low. This 56K area is a broader, higher low. I suspect that these resistance levels are going to be vulnerable in the future and are likely to get tested and possibly break. So if I'm going to place bets, I'm going to place bets betting that 70K is likely to at least be tested again or break, because the general trend is bullish. Do you see how that works? So I'm using trend and I'm using support and resistance levels to gauge potential and sort of assign a probability. Since I can't calculate a specific probability, I can basically say, well, since the trend is bullish, I'm anticipating that there's a greater than 50% chance that we test 70K again or test the high again and possibly break, because higher lows typically lead to higher highs, right? So it's all like a thought process. All right, so what are the people saying here in the comments? Hey, Alex from Romania, it's good to see you. Nugs, how are you? Price index on, no, but yeah, I saw that. That's not a big number, Nugs. Also, I really appreciate if you talk a little bit more about the investment, especially levels. Okay, I could touch on that real quick. Someone asked if the ETH chart was bullish or not, even though we did not break the all-time high yet. Okay, well, all right, thanks, Stian, for mentioning that. Ethereum is basically going to follow Bitcoin. I would say it's bullish, because if Bitcoin is bullish, which it is, Ethereum is basically on the broader time frames going to be bullish. So we should generally be looking for supports to hold and resistances to break. But what time frame you trade on is going to have a big effect on your decision-making process. All right, so real quick, all right, before we move on here, and we start looking for trades, because I'm going to spend some time looking for trades so I can demonstrate the TradeScanner Pro. Let's talk about the bigger picture. Investment levels, Nader, are pretty simple and straightforward. These lines on my chart are investing levels. These are major support levels that have historical significance based on the chart, right? So 56K area, if price can retest it, that's an area to consider for bigger picture positions, right? For taking small bites. This area here, which is what is this high over here? Like the 44, 45K area, right? That's a significant level. Whole numbers are also important levels. So the 50 even area, where's 50 even? 50 even is right here. This is going to be an important psychological level right here. So these are areas where if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin or even other altcoins, you can use Bitcoin as your gauge as well, because they all generally follow the same idea. These are your levels for the future, okay? Bitcoin may not get to these levels. The whole idea of these levels is these are potential opportunities that Bitcoin might reach. If Bitcoin never gets there, then there's no opportunity, okay? But you could say, well, then how do I get involved? If Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin never pulls back to this level here, it just never happens, or it takes a few years to pull back, and we go to 80K first before we pull back. Let's just say, and you just can't help yourself, and you have to be invested. The best thing to do in those situations is, first, you have to know how much you want to invest. Second, you're going to, if you're at less opportune levels, such as 70K resistance, then it's a good idea to invest less. So with a $10,000 account example, you can break that up into smaller increments based on levels, and the levels will be sort of a representation of the risk, right? So for example, if you're buying up in this area between like 66K and 70K, you're going to buy the smallest amount. Maybe you invest $100, a couple $100, and you'll say, okay, great, but if it goes to 80K, I make nothing. Right, but if it pulls back to 50K, you also lose very little. That's the whole point, is the risk, right? You really should be looking at these levels as risk, not as I'm missing out. Most people look at this as I'm missing out, because that's what all the clowns tell you, and that's how they get attention to their videos and all that other nonsense, right? They placate to your emotion, your fear, right? And that's how they get views. Well, I do the opposite. That's why I get no views. Now, so I'm telling you, you invest small here. And if it goes higher, hey, at least you get a little piece of the action. But at some point in the future, it's likely to pull back to a more opportune level. Maybe it runs to 80K first, and then it pulls back to 70K. At that point, 70K would be a more attractive level, where maybe you put on more than a couple of $100 worth, right? Something like that. Now, another thing you could do also is you can invest by time, meaning, each month you invest a certain amount, but you still look at the levels and say, okay, I'm going to invest $100 a month at these levels, because these are high risk levels. Okay, these are not low risk levels. I'll invest $100 a month. But if we pull back to like 56K again, and we're fooling around this area for a few weeks, maybe you say, okay, you know what? Well, this month, since we're at a better level, I'll invest $500, right? And eventually you're going to be all in. And hopefully you've averaged in larger portions at better prices. Now, keep in mind, if Bitcoin collapses, which is it's hard to believe, but we have to be open to anything. That's a risk that you take. So maybe you're all in at like 50K, and you have an average price of 60K, and Bitcoin goes to 30K. That can happen. When you're all in like that, you're at the mercy of the market. You take the most risk. All right. So that's what I'm going to say about that. That's really like the investing perspective. But my streams and my analysis is meant for the day trader and the swing trader. All right. Just so you know, because that is my expertise. All right. Okay, cool. So let's move along here. All right. So I think I addressed those questions, right? Steen, have I addressed the Ethereum question adequately? Let's move on here. And let's get into, first, any questions about this Bitcoin situation? It should be pretty straightforward, right? I mean, you guys have an idea of the illustration pretty much sums it all up. Looking for a pullback this week to maybe 66K, possibly 64K, and then we're looking for confirmations for longs at those levels for the next leg higher. Who knows how far that leg will go? It may not go higher at all. It may touch 70K again and turn again. This section that we're in right here, okay, let me just draw something. This section is a consolidation, and we're still in it. Okay, I saw some. It's unbelievable to me, some of these comments that I see. Sometimes people are just so. It's unbelievable how ignorant, arrogant, and naive people are at the same time. I got criticized for saying the party was over up in here. Okay, and I mean, so far I've been correct. This is not exactly a party. All right. Now, eventually, maybe we break this range, which I believe that scenario is favored. But until we break that range, we are in a consolidation. And the higher range, the higher portion of the consolidation, the range highs, are going to be higher risk than the range lows. But if the market is very strong, we're not going to see the range lows very often. Okay, we're going to see the range highs more often, like we're seeing. So please keep that in mind. All right, now, okay, cool. I just want to say that you really helped me and stopping FOMO. I follow your suggestions. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll put that in. Okay, I appreciate that. How to find the profit levels above the all-time high? Well, good question. Whole numbers. Okay, 80K. I can tell you 83K is a level. 80K, 83K, anything like 90K, 100K. Those are going to be inflection points simply because they're whole numbers. Another way that you can do that is you can use the fib extension tool. You can do that. Do I have the extension tool here? I don't really have it set up, but you can use this trend-based fib extension tool, but you have to understand what you're measuring. All right, so like for example, it doesn't tell you where the market will be in the future. It just gives you potential inflection points. You're measuring 3 points, right? Point 1, point 2, and you project it from point 3, right? And then that pretty much gives you some potential inflection points if the market can get to those levels. That's another good reference tool for something like that. But that's not like some kind of accurate tool that's going to make you a billionaire or anything like that. That just gives you a point of reference, same as the whole numbers. All right. So again, markets in the future are random. Please, that's the number one thing you need to put into your mind. There's no way to know the future. I don't care what all these guys are saying. Bitcoin is going to be 1 million by next year, right? They hope it gets there. And if it doesn't get there, they say, well, it's the market. So it's random. The market is mostly random. We don't know what the future will bring. We don't know what kind of news will come out. Now, if you know the news in the future, some kind of special announcement, well, then you have a piece of information that the market doesn't have, and you can benefit from that. But that's called inside information. Most people, unless you're Nancy Pelosi, most people don't have that. All right, enough rants on this. Let's get into the TradeScanner Pro, shall we? I don't see any other questions. All right, cool. So let's switch this over here. This is Bitcoin. Oh, by the way, do me a favor, press the like button, press the subscribe button on the channel here. It helps the channel. I do plan on growing the channel more and stuff like that. I have so many things on the plate. It's hard to get things done. But anyway, anything helps. So please do that for me. Do me that favor. Again, check the links in the description. And if you would like to thank Steen for his great work, you can also donate to one of his links on the bottom of the links there, and he would appreciate that very much. Okay, so let's talk about the TradeScanner Pro. Yeah, on the like. Yeah, thanks, Alex. Press the like, press subscribe. It helps. Okay. By the way, I'm on Twitter and I'm on Rumble as well. So I don't know if you're watching me on one of those platforms and you have questions, you're gonna have to come over to YouTube and ask the questions. All right. So first thing I'm going to do. This is a 1-minute perpetual futures chart from MEXC, right? The MEXC exchange. Now, what I want to point out here. All right, let's go to this. I want to first explain how TradeScanner Pro works in case you're new. All right, so this is the TradeScanner Pro tutorial part of the video. So it works in 3 steps, right? First, it identifies a trend. So let's say the trend is bullish, right? That's a bullish trend. And the trend is identified up here. It tells you what the trend is. That's how it sees the trend for the current time frame that you're on, okay? Now, if the trend is bullish, it then looks for a pullback in that trend. That's what it's looking for, right? Once a pullback occurs, it then measures this pullback here, and it's waiting for a confirmation of a change in momentum. That's a momentum reversal system. Once it confirms, and you see a leg that kind of looks like that, okay, like a higher low, and it's attempting to go higher. At this point here, not here, up here, it will call a trade. The trade signal will look like this. It'll give you a stop loss, it'll give you an entry, and it'll give you a take profit reference point. Those are reference levels for you to follow. It helps you so that you don't have to figure out where do I get in and where do I get out. It answers that question for you. And Stian was nice enough to build a free version of the tool that calculates the stop loss and take profit. It's called the Trade Exit Calculator, and it's free. You can get it. Just go to my profile and you can put it on your chart. But again, it's a calculator. It's not, there's no logic behind it. It doesn't, you have to bring your own signals. There's no signals, right? It just basically shows you the ATR for the closing price. And then it gives you a stop loss and take profit so that you have an idea of where to get out, assuming you have your own signal. Okay. Anyway, so this is what the trade scanner does. Now, this is trend mode. There's also something called counter trend mode. Counter trend mode looks for this point right here. Okay. And if a counter trend signal appears, it will call a counter trend trade because it's ignoring the trend. All right. So let me erase these real quick. Right. The trend is bullish in this example. It'll call a counter trend short here because it's ignoring this. Now, using context is extremely important because if you just take random counter trend trades, you will lose often because it's random. Please understand that. You're going against the probability. So when would you use a counter trend trade? When context is appropriate. Like, for example, 70K resistance on Bitcoin. You'd look at your 15-minute, you'd look at your hourly chart, and if it's, in fact, let's do it now real quick. Let me erase this. All right, so we know 70K is a resistance on Bitcoin. Right now, we're at 68.3. Let's go to an hourly chart real quick, okay? This is a 1-hour chart on Bitcoin. And now if I go to, right now, my trend here is bearish. See that? It says trend is bearish on the 1 hour because it's basically looking at all of this price action here, right? Trend is bearish. Well, 70K is like up here somewhere. So at that point, the trend may be bullish when we're back up there. Here in this area, right, maybe 66K. I mean, right now we're fooling around again, right? 68.3. But look, over here was what? What is this low here? 66.230, right? At this low. Now, right now, this thing is in trend mode. So at this time, the trend must have been bullish. But my example, the example that I want to first show you here is, right, the trend is bearish right now. What if I want to go long? We're not at 70K. So there may be like an intraday trade here or something long. How do I go long? Should I go long here? Well, I simply go to counter trend mode. I turn on counter trend mode. And as you can see, the historical trades have changed. These are historical trades. Okay. There was a trade up here, short. Okay. This thing is now looking for longs, even though the trend is bearish. Do you see how that works? But I don't do that randomly. I need to identify a support level first to do that because I want to be long near a support. Doesn't that make sense, right? You want to be long near a support because we know that the biggest picture on Bitcoin is bullish, but these smaller time frames are not going to be bullish because the momentum is not the same, right? Each time frame is going to have its own momentum, and we call that trend. It's going to have its own version of that, right? Based on what's happening on that time frame. So if that confuses you, that means you don't have enough experience yet. You should probably avoid counter trend mode and just stick with the trend. But for more advanced traders, you say, oh yeah, there's a support here. I'm looking for longs. Okay, cool. But my trend is bearish. You're not going to get longs unless you go into counter trend mode, right? And you simply go here and you click on counter trend. I'm going to take it off for now. All right. And while we have this up real quick, I just want to mention, right? This is the historical trades right here. If I take this off, they vanish, right? If I put it back on, they appear. The heads up gives us a warning that a signal may be appearing soon. It paints the candles orange, which you can see over here. Okay, trailing stop, that's obvious. Counter trend, I just explained. And show trend just basically shows the little menu up at the top, right? If I turn that off, it turns this off over here. All right, so that's the explanation real quick. Oh yeah, oh thanks, Stian. Let me put the link in there myself. Thanks for the reminder there. Okay, hold on. So I'm going to put this link so I can show it on the main screen. Actually, I could probably just show yours. Can I just show yours? Let's see. There's Stian's thing there. Free trial. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, I can show that one. Thanks, Stian. Actually, but you know what, Stian? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the Bitly one because it's shorter, and it might be easier for people to type that in. All right. Thank you for sharing that one, though. Here, so I'm going to put this in. I'm going to put it in the channel first. Okay. And hopefully I spelled it correct. See, that's so much shorter. It's easier. It's easier on the eye. Less is more. Okay. Bitly. Yeah. So that link right there, by the way, and the one that Stian shared also in the channel, takes you to this page here. Let me just show this real quick before we start looking for trades. All right. Takes you to this page right here. Right. The Trade Scanner Pro page. It explains how it works, explains the features, tells you a little bit about me. And then there's this over here. This is how you sign up. Okay. You have a 14-day free trial. So if you don't understand what that means, let me explain real quick. It means you have 14 days to try for free. Free. All you have to do is put your payment information. Maybe some people have a problem with that and they don't like to put their payment information in. It requires payment information. But you're not going to get billed unless you wait until after 14 days. You can cancel any time between those 14 days. And it's very easy to cancel. You just go to your customer login, right? And you can cancel from there, which people that have canceled had no problem figuring that out. Or if you have PayPal, you just go to your PayPal thing, you cancel from there. My point is, it's very easy to cancel. There's no tricks here. On top of that, there are two prices. There's a monthly and the yearly. As you can see, my yearly price comes to $22.50 a month. Not bad. Okay, that equates to $270 for the year. Right, the monthly is $30 per month. These are introductory prices. This price is going to rise. So if you'd like to lock this in, this is the best way to go about it. All right. You click here. It takes you to this page here. It's going to take you to a sign up page, right? That looks like this. And you have to make sure it says up here to put your TradingView username. Your username goes right here. See that? You put your TradingView username. You have to make sure you put that in there. Otherwise, I can't send you the invite. And make sure it's your username and not an email. All right. It has to be your TradingView username. I know I shouldn't have to explain that, but anyway. All right, so very simple. This is how you get to it. It's 14 days. I encourage you to try it and paper trade with it. It's free. I don't understand what part of free people don't understand, Steve. I don't know. Anyway, I could see if I was charging $1,000 and giving you like a 14-day money back guarantee, then that you could be like, yeah, that sounds a little crooked to me. Yeah, I would agree. But it's $30 and you can cancel. You have 14 days. Anyway, all right. So let me just show you something real quick here. For those of you that pay for TradingView, and if you don't have TradingView and you're going to pay for it, please use the link in the description. It helps out Stian. All right. Let me show you this. Now you can replay on all charts simultaneously. Oh, how cool. Nice. Thanks, TradingView. So the replay feature is very cool, okay, when it comes to using like the trade scanner. Watch this, because we could see how trades played out previously. So I set it up for this point. As you can see right here, this is an hourly chart. These are hourly bars. There's a warning right there that a signal is going to appear soon. Also, you notice that the trend here is bullish. Okay, it's green. And my counter trend mode is not on. So I'm looking for trend trades, right? This thing is looking for longs. So let's play the next few bars. And what happens? That doesn't look like a long yet. There's no signal. Okay, but a signal is likely to come soon. That's what the orange candles tell me. Now this candle pushed that low and turned pretty aggressively higher. See this? Okay, but there's nothing here yet. There's nothing to do. There's no signal. There's the signal. Okay, notice when the signal appeared, it pulled back a little bit and then it closed above. That's the signal. It lays out the stop loss, the entry, and the take profit. How nice. So you don't have to figure these things out anymore. You have a point of reference. You should know this is where you put your stop. So you could figure out how much size you want to put on and all that stuff to keep your risk under control. Now, so this is a confirmation tool. That this is your confirmation. You don't have to worry about this anymore. You can also set up notifications. Now, again, this doesn't always work. You're not going to see it in replay mode, but the notifications should come out in real time. Now, some people obviously don't get them in real time and still trying to clear that up, but that may have something to do with your location and stuff like that. I'm still not exactly sure. But anyway, you can do notifications, and you should get a notification in real time telling you that a signal has appeared. Now, let's play this forward. How does it go? Does the signal stop out or does the signal play out? Let's see. I mean, again, these are hourly bars. So this is a number of hours. Like, that doesn't look good. And in a situation like that, I mean, you do have an option to get out earlier before it goes to the full stop. And maybe it goes to the full stop. Let's see. It looks like it's going to. Almost touched it. Let's see. Does it go there? Now the trailing stop, as you can see, has appeared. And this thing is trying to work its way. Look at that. Look at that, right? It found support a little bit lower, almost touched the stop. Now the trailing stop has appeared, and it's going to start to follow this trade. Now, keep something in mind. The trailing stop, this trade is now a break-even trade. This trade is now a risk-free trade. It went from all of this risk, which is what? About 250 points. This is about 250 points of risk. Oops. This is about 250 points of risk here. Okay, in this area. Here, let me hold on. Let me draw that. Let me make that a little clearer. This area right here. That's about 250 points, right? So 1.5 to 1 reward risk gives you at about what, 300 and something points? What is it, 67.8 to 69.8? Well, that's a lot. No, I'm sorry. This is more than 300. This is a lot. In fact, let me just measure it. So this is about 1,268 points of risk. I'm sorry. I can't see the numbers. And this here is about 19, let's just say, let's round it to 2,000, about 2,000 points of profit potential, right? Those are big numbers. So obviously your size is going to be very tightly controlled. And this thing's at break even at this point. So even if this thing pulls back, you give all this profit back, you're still not losing anything in terms of how the trade works. Now, does the stop get taken out? Let's see. The trailing stop, does it get taken out? Probably, yeah, it got taken out. So at that point, it never went to its take profit, but the trailing stop still locked something in. Now, the trailing stop, the whole point of it is to control your risk and give you a point of reference on how to trail your stop. There are times if the market just runs and keeps running, the trailing stop follows it and gives you a greater than 1.5 to 1 reward risk. That is how you increase your chances of profitability over time. Now, one cool feature that Steen is going to be updating soon is the trailing stop. We're going to be able to throttle the trailing stop. So we'll be able to change the sensitivity of it. You'll be able to have a more aggressive trailing stop, which will follow the price closely, or a more loose trailing stop, where it's not as sensitive and it gives the market more room to breathe and fool around. I think that'll be a really nice update. Okay. To get those updates, by the way, you have to make sure you press the boost button on the script on my homepage, on my profile page, so that you get a notification when I push the upgrade. Okay, so it's something he's working on. All right, so enough of that. I just want to show you an example. Now, let's talk about real-time trades, and let's go to a 1-minute chart. All right, what's going on here? Now, keep in mind, we're still in holiday mode. Look at this move, right? This is a 1-minute chart. I would like to see if I can get involved in this somehow. Let's see what the trade scanner tells me. Let's put the trade scanner, make sure we're not in counter trend mode. It'll also say that over here. If counter trend is on, it'll tell you. So we're in trend mode right now, right? And this trend is clearly bullish, but let's get a little more context for the 1 minute, because now I'm changing my mindset. I was just showing you an hourly chart. We're now switching to the 1 minute mindset. This is a much more advanced way of looking into the market, and I do not suggest this for beginners. I'm just showing you so I can have an example to demonstrate the Trade Scanner Pro. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. just to get an idea of where we are on this time frame. Okay, so context. So there's support over here in this area. That's pretty clear. There's some resistance here. Let's pick out the resistance areas. We got something over here, old support. We have something around here, right? So we are. It's reasonable to say we are fooling around in somewhat of a resistance area, right? In the eyes of a 1 minute chart. So the 15-minute chart gives me some perspective or context. So in this situation, I'm not exactly worried about the trend. I'm worried more about the levels, okay? Context. So what does this mean? I'll leave these lines on the chart. This means on my 1 minute chart, I'm open to counter trend trades is what that means. Because trend trades, you say, why would you want to do that? I mean, this trend is pretty strong. Yes, but we're at levels where this thing may turn, right? And look, obviously there were a number of attempts to turn, but it keeps failing. Let's turn counter trend mode on and see if there's anything here. So look at this. There were a few attempts, right? There were a few trades which obviously failed, okay? And again, that's going to happen when you do that, when you get this type of momentum. Even though we are in a resistance area, it doesn't mean the first signal is going to work. And I'll try a counter trend signal, but it's a low probability because I'm fighting this momentum. But we're going to try it. So let's turn on my trade book, my order book, and let's see if we can get a signal here. Now you can see there's some orange candles are trying to develop, but they don't stick, right? The candles keep closing green. So that means there's no signal in sight yet. What if I want to go long, right? What if you say, well, I don't want to take counter trend. I don't want to fight the trend. Good thing I'm not short. How do I go long? Well, in a situation like this, I'm on a 1 minute chart. The only way I'll be able to go long in a situation like this here, let me turn off counter trend for a moment, right? Because there are not going to be any trend trades until this thing significantly pulls back. So what do? I have to go to a smaller time frame. You can only go below 1 minute on the most expensive version of TradingView. Sorry, that's not something, that's not my, it's not my rule. That's their rule. I would not recommend that for beginners anyway. But let's go to like a 15-second chart, okay? This is where we're going to find trend trades. Look, there's one. Okay, long. This is where we're going to find them if there are any. There aren't that. And even on the 15-second chart, they're rare. Let's go to a 5-second chart. We'll probably see more. There we go. We have to go to a 5-second time frame to participate in this movement, right? That's, and most people, unless you have the most expensive version of TradingView, are not going to be able to see this. So I'm just illustrating to you, like, so how would we take a trend trade? Well, you have to wait for the 1 minute, and that's going to take some time because there are no significant pullbacks on the 1 minute time frame for a signal to show up. Does that make sense? All right, so let's go back to our 1 minute and let's see if we can get a counter trend trade. So I'm back into counter trend mode. Now keep in mind, I'm interested in counter trend because of the context of the location. I'm getting a warning candle. I'm going to short one in advance. Now this often gets me into trouble, but I'm going to try it. This is very aggressive. I don't suggest taking trades on warnings, but when you're very confident about the level or whatever, and you want to give it a try, it helps you it helps you build a position earlier, right? Than before the signal comes out. Now let's see, this may totally not work, but if it doesn't work, I only have one contract. So my loss will be the smallest. It's not like I have 2, 3, 4, 5 contracts and I get caught with a big position, right? The idea is to build a position and then have the market go my way and move greater while I have more contracts on. Does that make sense? So I make more when I win and I lose less when I lose. That's the whole key to this whole thing. People think it's about knowing the future and about being right and all that other retail nonsense. It's about managing risk. I'm wrong all the time. Okay. It's about how well you adjust. It's not about being right. So like I may be very wrong over here. Let's see. The market will let me know. Okay. So also I want to point out time of day is very important. It's almost 4 o'clock Eastern time. The stock market is about to close. Often, a lot of times we'll get a jump in Bitcoin at the close and the market can be very erratic. It's not a good time to be placing trades. That's why I will do this on paper. This is a paper trade. I will not risk real money at this time. That would be a bad idea. Okay. All right. Guys, let me know if you have any questions as I'm going through this. Any questions so far? By the way, if you want to sign up for a 14-day free trial, check out the link. I have it on the screen here. There's a link in the description. Check it out. Steen put the link in the chat as well. Check that all out. All right, so let's see how this thing plays out. I'm hoping that we get a signal, and I will add to this. Okay. Context tells me, right, this is a trade based on context. There's some resistance in this area. We'll see if the resistance asserts itself. It may not. And I don't want to have a big position. If this thing goes vertical on me, which it can very easily, right? I don't want to get caught. Like, see how it's trying to go vertical? I don't want to get caught on the wrong side. I'll just blow this thing out and take the small loss. But if this thing generates a signal, then I'll put on a second contract. And we'll see if I can get anything out of that. Now, keep something in mind. I'm on a 1-minute chart. It's going to tell me the stop loss and take profit. When I'm working with a 1-minute chart, I mean, how many points am I looking to make on a 1-minute chart? I'm hoping to get maybe 50 points, 100 points. That's all you're looking for. And that's the beauty of the trade scanner. It tells you that because it shows you where to get in and where to get out. You don't have to guess. And also, it helps you stay realistic, right? Because, greed may get the best of you. And you'll be like, well, this thing's going to pull back and I'm going to make 1,000 points. Order my Ferrari, will you? Right? That's what you're going to think. Meanwhile, it's only going to pull back 100 points. Or it's more likely to pull back a much smaller amount because this momentum is bullish. I'm fighting this. So it's right off the bat, it's bad. It's a bad idea. Okay. Well, interestingly enough, look at this. This was a counter trend trade because I'm in counter trend mode. The trend was bearish at that time. It called a long. Well, that long worked out pretty well. Okay. So counter trend mode can work very well if it's applied correctly. It helps if you have experience. If you're brand new, this is not going to work for you. All right. If you've only been doing this like a month and you think you've found the magical formula, please go try out someone else's magical formula. This one's not going to work. All right. So I'm waiting for my signal now. So I had the warning. I had the heads up. I'm waiting for my signal. It's likely to appear on this candle, on the close of the candle. The candle needs to close. So let's see. Are we going into 4 o'clock? We have 2 minutes. So I'm going to take the trade going into 4 o'clock, and we may get some kind of erratic movement. It's very typical. There's the signal. I'm selling a second one as part of my plan. So I'm now short 2. Okay. So I shorted 1 early because of the warning, and now I have 2. Look where my take profit is. All right. 68,301. Now, keep in mind, this thing may completely reverse and go straight to the stop. It's a 1-minute chart. Hey, Monica, I've been trying and made some, I can't read it. Just following the scanner and exiting. Touch the resistance level. Okay. On my phone, I'm having a hard time. I can't see that. I've been trying the Trade Scanner Pro and made some on 5 days ago, just following the scanner and exiting 1. All right, so you made money? Is that what you're saying? Oh, cool. Okay. That's good. I'm glad. Well, I mean, that's the idea again. See, I mean, look, we have 4 o'clock, right? See how it's jumbling around here? See this? So this thing may go straight back to the stop because this thing is generally strong, but let's see, I'm going to give it a chance. Let's see if we can get the trailing stop to come out, right? The trailing stop takes a little time. The market needs to go in my favor a little bit, but I mean, this thing started out right and then turned right around. It's going to happen on a 1 minute. Plus I'm fighting this thing. Keep that in mind. This is low probability, right? So the market here is giving me a gift. It's doing me a favor if it goes my way. All right, it's not likely to go my way. I'm just taking this trade so you can see an example. And again, if you're a beginner, you shouldn't be working on a 1-minute chart. You should consider the 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly. The trades are going to be much less frequent. Okay. Also, keep in mind, it's possible to have trades going on multiple time frames. There may be something on a 5-minute. There may be something on a 30-minute at the same time. You first have to know what time frame you want to operate on. Don't jump around. Right? In the beginning, just pick one. Okay. Yeah, cool. Well, see, so I'm glad, Monica. Again, so people, this is a confirmation tool, right? So I anticipated that we were going to pull back off of this level up here. All right. And this tool kicks in when I get the confirmation. That's really the best way to think of this. This thing is not telling me the future. This thing is just telling me, okay, we're anticipating a pullback because of the level. I got some warning that we were going to pull back, and then we got the confirmation here. And the hope is that it reaches here because that's within reason based on recent price action. Okay. So we may not get there. This thing may give me a hard time. I may have to blow it out early. Right now, I'm a green in the trade. Why? Because I started an early position. That's one advantage to doing that, because now, even though my second position is here, because I started one early, I'm still dealing with a slightly profitable trade. Okay. It gives me a little leeway to play with, right? Makes sense? All right. Cool. So thanks for sharing that story, Monica. Here, for people that can't see it on the screen, this is what Monica said. She made some money, the Trade Scanner Pro. Now, let's see if this thing, we should see in the next couple of minutes, we should see that the trailing stop begin to appear and start to follow this thing. Also, if we pull back to this level right here, if we get back, I'll cover one just to take some profit, just to lock something in, right? Because I could see the market, I'm fighting the market, first of all, and people are obviously, they want to buy this thing. So there's some minor support in this area. Look, old resistance, new support. I shouldn't be surprised. So if we can't clear this level right here, I'm just going to take some money off the table, lock in some profit. That's a good thing to do, especially when you're fighting the trend, which is bullish. Okay. Also, now on this, I can search on, if I go to a smaller time frame, I don't want to confuse you, but if I go to the 5 second, there's probably a long signal over here. See? No, is that? Oh, it's still a short signal. Let me take this off. Right? Let me go into trend mode. Look, this is trend mode. There's a long signal at the same time, as I was just explaining. This is a 5 second chart. Okay. There was a long signal back here, which isn't really going anywhere. It's about to get stopped out, but there was a long signal. Right? You can see the trailing stop has reduced the risk on that. That's a signal that's occurring at the same time. Now, don't get confused with a 5 second chart. I just wanted to show you. All right, let's go back to our 1 minute. All right, now, can we get a little pullback, a little further? Now, if I can get a long signal on my 1 minute, now that would be much more attractive for me, and I will be interested in taking that long since the general trend is bullish. I will have to switch my mode though, because I'm still in counter trend mode. It tells me so up here. Also, another thing I want to mention is the reward risk ratio for these orders. Oh, hold on, I may have to get out of one here. Let's see if it breaks or not. Okay, trying to break. Okay, if I see the tail, I'm going to get out. No break. Okay, no tail. Let's see. Give it a chance. He wants to pay. Give it a chance. Give it a chance. Okay. All right. Tail. Get a little tail. I'm gonna cover one just to take some money off the table. See, tail. All right. Goodbye. One. So I locked in one before the take profit. Okay. Now I have some flexibility here. Now this thing, I can let it ride. I can do whatever. I locked in some profit. This trade is going to have to go all the way back up here. It's going to have to go all the way back up here for me to lose money now, pretty much. Okay. So let's let this thing do its thing. So now what I was saying is the reward risk ratio is set at 1.5 to 1. Right? This point here, let me draw a little rectangle so you guys can see. This area here is 1.5 times this area. Okay? That's 1.5 to 1 reward risk, which is automatically set that way. You can change that. This number right here says 1.5. That's what that is, the 1.5 to 1 reward risk. You simply go to your settings and the number is right there. You can change that. If you change that to 2 to 1, then it's going to separate the orders at a 2 to 1 ratio. If you put that to the number 1, it'll separate the orders at a 1 to 1 ratio. You could put whatever number you want. Okay, see what I mean with this? That's why I locked one in. Let's see if I can give this thing a chance. Let's see if this thing turns around again. Something very advanced that I do with this thing sometimes. Again, keep in mind, I'm fighting the trend. Okay. If I go into trend mode, let's see, is there a signal here on trend mode? There's no signal there on trend mode. I would like to go long this thing, but there's no signal there. So I'm going to let this counter trend play out. And if this thing turns the other way and the next candle turns red, I'll try to add one again, especially if we're fooling around the original entry price, right? If we're fooling around here and I get another bearish candle around here, I'll try to add one again, and I'll try to cover it again if we pull back. Again, that's really advanced, and it's also very risky, okay? And I do try to do that with real money. It doesn't always work out, just letting you know. Okay, so, but as you can see from this example and other examples that I've shown on this channel, I mean, sure, I've taken losing trades, but I want to illustrate just how the certainty that this creates, because it's giving you a point of reference. Okay, that is really the key to this. You know where you should be getting out. You shouldn't really expect more than this. And this is a gift to begin with because I'm fighting the trend. You know the entry. You know how much risk you're taking. Okay, and a lot of times, especially if you just take random trades, it's going to go to the stop. And you have to respect these levels. All right, now let's see, this thing's either going to blow through, or maybe I get the reversal, right, back off of this area. Maybe I get the reversal. If I get the reversal, I'll try to short another one. Keep in mind, I'm still short one, and I'm still green on it. I gave back all this profit, okay, but I locked one in. So even if this thing goes all the way back against me, chances are the trade will be green. Maybe not a whole lot of green, but it's still green. Here's the trailing stop. It's beginning to appear, right? So let's see what happens with this. Again, this thing, like I said, this thing is bullish and I should be long. But what I'm trying to illustrate here too is the thought process and how you apply the thought process to this tool. So again, you know, we took the trade because of the level, right? That's where it begins, the level, not the signal. All of these signals stopped out. Every single one of these stopped out. That's 3 stop outs if I took those. Okay, and I may have tried like maybe this one or something because it's slightly higher than this one, possible failed high, and that still stopped out. So just understand that's what you're dealing with. Okay, I'm better off looking for long signals on the smaller time frame. All right, now let's see if this thing closes red. If it does, I'll add. Okay, I'll add one back. Let's see, how much time do we have? All right, we have a lot of time. We have like 40 seconds. That's a lot of time. All right. Any questions so far? I'll try to add one back, see if I can cover it, you know, in this area here again, see if I can get out of it. And this time, if I get a hesitation here, I'll just blow out of both of them. Okay. But now if we had all day, if we could sit here all day, you could watch me take trades where, you know, if the trailing stop really kicks in and this thing breaks, that's when you really start making some money. Okay, because the trailing stop keeps you in and you get paid more than 1.5 to 1. That's ideal because over time, it skews your reward risk ratio. Okay, this thing is going to close red. That thing closed red. All right, I'm going to add one. Let's see, this candle going to pop right back up. Hold on, let me give it a chance. I don't want to just short this thing. It's just going to go right back up to the top. But if it hesitates, I'm going to short it. Let's see, nothing yet. Okay, these 1 minute charts are very hard. There's some hesitation. Okay, I shorted one. They're very hard to trade. Things change a lot very quickly. Like I said, 1 minute is a long time. All right, things can change a lot in 1 minute. I know it's hard to believe, but when you do this for as long as I have, you see things that are like, man, things change quickly. Some piece of news can come out, right, in the next minute that I'm not aware of. You know, some company, NVIDIA comes out with some, oh, we're going to split 100 to 1 this time, right? This thing will do this. All right. In an instant, it'll do it. And I'm caught in it and I have to blow this thing out. So you don't know what's going to come out, right? So that's why you have to respect the levels. And that's a risk that we take. It could just come out of nowhere, especially after hours like this. This is when companies report stuff and some stupid news. Now, some stupid news can come out my way. Coincidentally, Amazon, oh, we missed our revenue, blah, blah, blah. We're going out of business. This thing will be vertical the other way. Amazon's not going out of business. I'm just exaggerating. All right. So my trailing stop has reduced my risk a bit, right? So if we go there, I'll just blow this thing out. I put on another one. It's not working, right? This red candle, I should not see green candles after such a red candle. If this thing was going to go my way, I should see red candles. This thing should be red. Why am I seeing green candles? It's because I'm fighting this thing. That's why. And I'm aware of it, right? So when you're fighting it, you have to be quick to make decisions. You have to be very decisive. I know I'm fighting it. I know that this thing can go vertical on me. So I'm going to prepare to get out. I have my 2 contracts and I'm going to buy it back. If this thing pops, I'm just going to buy it back. Let's just give it a chance here. All right. Any questions while we wait for the market to blow me out here? Any questions? Can you expand a little on why you are use the DOM instead of the market book on TradingView to buy? Well, because that's a good question, Monica. It's because I'm just demonstrating I just want to demonstrate replace the orders. I mean, the market book on TradingView, I'm not familiar with the market book. I use the DOM because that's what I'm familiar with. I don't even know where to find the market book. I don't use that. And this is just for paper trades. I don't actually trade on this platform. Okay, because I specialize in the futures, and I'm used to using order books that look like this. So that's why. I don't know. Is the market book better? I mean, if it's better for people, I'll demonstrate on it. This trade isn't, see what I mean? It's a good thing I took some money off the table earlier. This thing's against me now. I'm losing money on this now. I'm waiting for either we touch the trailing stop or we get a red candle. Now, if I was really aggressive, I'd short more on another red candle. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. Why? Even on paper, I'm not going to do that. For one, I don't want to get into bad habits. Number 2, I'm fighting the trend. Okay, so I don't want to be super aggressive when I'm fighting the trend. If I'm going to be aggressive, I should be aggressive on the side of the trend. That makes more sense, right? Even if I get candles that confirm blah, blah, blah. Now, maybe if we were like at a major resistance, maybe at 70K or something like that, and we get like a more compelling candle, maybe I'd be open to that, but we're not at a major level here. Okay, on the bigger picture. That's when you consider bigger picture context, right? We're working with smaller picture context. These levels were derived from a 15-minute chart, not the daily time. That makes sense? That's more advanced, and people be confused by that because I'm working on multiple levels here. Okay, what's going on my screen? Okay. Why I like to do is place the orders using the long and short tool from, okay, so Steen mentions that he likes to, when you set the paper trade thing up on other platforms, on the TradingView platform, there are buttons that will appear up here that basically say long and short. Is that what you mean by the order book, Monica? That may have something to do with which version of TradingView you use. Then I also make sure the trade is shown on the chart. Right. Oh, okay. See, I like to keep it. I like to just keep it. I know that might be more. I know Steen has mentioned that before. You could show the trade on the chart, but I like less information on my chart. That's just my personal preference. I don't like to see so much stuff. See, look, that thing just got taken out, right? So I have a choice. I can take the trailing stop. I can get out because the trailing stop just got tapped and the trade vanished. Okay, let me see how much time we have for this thing close. We just have a few seconds. Let me see how the next candle begins to develop. If the next candle starts going higher, I'm out. Okay. Oh, that's looking kind of strong there. Maybe we may start popping here in a moment. Do we pop or do we give this back? Let's see how the next candle begins. Are we in the next candle yet? Where are you? We're in it. Okay, out. Goodbye. All right, so let's see how that worked. So that again, I just want to show you an example. That was an example. So my first trade, I locked in $133, right over here. My second trade, which I had 2 contracts on, by the way, I lost $136. So net minus $3. Not bad, considering it was a super aggressive trade. I gave it a chance. It failed. Okay. I could, sure, you could, well, why should have locked it in over here? Well, I tried to give it a chance, right? The market's not always going to work with you. But it's a good thing I locked in that first one. Otherwise, I'd be, this would have been a losing trade. This is basically minus $3. We can consider this a break-even trade, basically. Okay, so I made some and I gave it right back. But I had more contracts on. I had 2 contracts, on this leg up here, which means what? See, we look at after the fact, but what that means is if this trade worked out, I would have made a lot more money. That's what you should be thinking about, right? So the left side, okay, Monica. Yeah, so that's what you meant. Right, so you're talking about the thing that appears up here, right? I just like to use the order book better because I'm just used to it. Okay, you know what? Look at this. So I'm still in counter trend mode. A signal might appear there. Do I have any? No, I don't have any orange. So I don't know if a signal will appear here or not. But I tell you what, I'm not going to take this because there's no signal, but I do like this location. Okay, if a signal appears here soon, now just because I get a candle like this doesn't mean it's going to pull back. If I was still sure, I would be to see this, because this is usually when you get a turn like this, a lot of times it means the momentum is changing, but this thing is still generally bullish. So this candle can also easily get eaten up by a green candle, right? That's why you don't react to candles. You look at your location and you wait for confirmation, which comes from the trade scanner. So in this situation, what do? Well, I can wait for another counter trend signal, or I can wait for a trend signal, right? If I turn counter trend off, let's do that. Man, this would have been nice. I'm back in trend mode here. I have to go to smaller time frames. I have no choice, because if I'm going to get a trend signal, that's where it's going to appear. Look at this. This is on the 30-second chart. There was a long right there. That's where I covered my first short. Okay. So I was probably better off going long, but whatever. You have to decide how you're going to play it, right? They're not all going to be right. And I knew I was taking a lot of risk going into this to begin with, right? Fighting this thing. I'm better off looking for these type of trades on the side of the trend. To get a 30-second chart, like I said, you have to have the most expensive version of TradingView. And if you're going to sign up for TradingView, again, link in the description. It helps Stian out. I don't really care. I mean, yeah, sure, it helps TradingView out and all that stuff, but Stian would appreciate the support also. Okay. Stian says, we'll share of what I mean. Oh, okay, cool. So he's going to share it in the community. If you haven't checked the community out, there's a free area there where there's a lot of talk. I mean, Alex moderates the community channel, and there's a lot there. People can ask questions and stuff like that. I will be participating more. It's just I got a lot on my plate, and it's hard for me to go in there. It's not that I'm ignoring, I'll be in there more soon. We just have to get a few things done here. But I know I always say that, but I will participate more. But that's why I have guys like Alex, he does a very good job at showing stuff. Man, this would have been nice to still be short. Anyway, check out the community chat, and check also if you want a free signal every week. We have the Trade Scanner bot, right? You could sign up for that by email. Every week you get a cryptocurrency or a stock or a forex. It rotates each week. You get a signal on a larger time frame. It sends it to you by email. So if you want to get a feel for the system that way, you can do that. Hey, maybe we'll get a signal here. If I get a signal, I'll take it. Long. We have a little time. This is how I do 3-hour streams. I don't want to spend the whole day streaming. Look, we got some warnings. See that? Interesting. Okay. This means a signal is coming in the next few minutes, possibly. Now, I can be aggressive here and go long because the market is generally bullish, as we've learned. So let's take one long. Wait, let's see. We get a little red there. Let's see if we get a green, I'll take one long. Right? We have a red, I'm going to avoid. Right? In case this thing breaks. Just because we have a warning doesn't guarantee we're going to get the reversal. Right? Now, the reversal is the confirmation. Right? That's when the signal appears. That's the confirmation. We're getting another warning. I'm going to take this one. That turn. So I just bought that. Okay, I just bought that. There's no signal yet. I just took my early entry because I saw that thing turn, and then we're getting the green. Okay, remember the general trend is bullish, so I'm willing to be more aggressive on the general side. Well, conflict. Yes, there's conflict, but don't let that confuse you. Conflict, as I explained in my previous, I remember you asked the question. Conflict just tells me that this momentum is going against the general trend, and the trend may be in transition of changing, but it doesn't guarantee that it's changing. It just gives you a heads up. Okay, so I'm okay with stepping into conflict. You're always going to get, like, especially situations like this, you're going to get conflict. Man, I never got the signal. Sometimes that's going to happen if it moves too fast. Something like it jumped. That was a pretty big jump, but there may be a signal on a 1 minute. Let's see. Do I have it on the 1 minute? No. Let's check the 15-second. I may have it there. There it is. I got it on the 15-second chart. Man, 15 seconds. So in a situation like this, I mean, look where we are. We're almost to take profit. I took the trade based on the 30-second in anticipation of the signal, but it came on the 15-second. So what I'll do in this situation, I'm not going to add now. What I'll do is I'll wait to see if we could pull back to the entry, and I'll try to add there. You see how I'm being creative with this? That's how you have to be. That takes some experience. I wouldn't expect you to do what I'm doing here. I'm jumping around time frames. I'm looking for things. I'm jumping in and out of counter trend mode. I'm showing you how this thing works, in a more advanced way. As a beginner, stick with your 15 minute. Oh, there we go. Stick with your 15 minute, stick with stuff like that, and be patient with it. Okay. Paper trade for a little while to get a feel for it. Now, if this gets stopped out, it's okay, because this is not the signal I took anyway. This is not the time frame I'm working on anyway. Okay. That got stopped out. Okay, no problem. Let's go back to the 30-second. Because remember, I never got the signal on the 30-second. Maybe I'll get it now. Okay, so on the next green candle, if we get some green candles. So if we get a warning again, okay, remember, I'm still long. I got long over here, and it totally gave it back on me, right? So look, it's turning again. Now, maybe I'll get the signal again, but maybe I'll get it on my 30-second, in which case I'll go long again. I'll add to what I have. Now, I'm being aggressive now because the trend is generally bullish. The trend may change, and if the trend changes, as I'm putting on more and more, I'm going to get hammered. Okay, there's a signal, long, second one. Now, this is on my 30-second chart now, okay? This is a little more appropriate time frame that I was looking for anyway. Okay, that's the warning that I took, was on the 30-second. I know that if signals don't appear on my time frame, but the market is still moving, most likely it appeared somewhere else on a smaller time frame. Now, on that note, I just want to mention something. I'm going to take 3 because, again, now I'm on the side of the trend. Okay, we're planning to come up with an update, but actually, it's going to be a separate script. It's not going to be. I'm not going to update this one. The newer version of this that we're coming up with soon, it's going to have a table. Okay, the table is going to appear on the chart, like over here. You'll be able to move the table around, right? You can move it around. It's going to be something like that. And on this table, let me move it out of the chart area so that. So let's say you have this table. On the table, you'll be able to input like a bunch of symbols, like 10 symbols that you want to watch, okay? And then you can also input what time frames you want to watch. So let's say, you want to watch Apple, you want to watch Bitcoin, you want to watch Microsoft, you want to watch pound dollar, and you want to watch, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 30 minute, blah, blah, blah. You program that into your settings, and now this table will tell you where the signals are appearing, okay, on multiple time frames without having to change your charts. How cool would that be? So that's an advance that's coming. I don't know when. That one's going to take some time. But that one's going to be a separate. That one's going to be a separate. Oh, that one got stopped out. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Let's see what's going on here. I may have to blow this out. Remember, I never got a signal. All right, I'm going to have to get out of this. Let me go back to my. Is this thing hesitating here? Let me go back to my 30 seconds. See, here's the thing. When these things go vertical, oh look, it's hesitating. All right, I'm gonna give it a chance. When these things go vertical, sometimes you can't hesitate. You have to blow it out because this thing could go vertical for hundreds of points, right? Like in seconds. So you can't fool around with that. But when it hesitates, sometimes it goes a little extra like this and it hesitates. The trend hasn't changed yet. I'll give it a chance. How much is this thing against me? All right, it's not too bad. Not too bad yet. Let's see if I get another signal. So this signal here stopped out. See, they don't all work. Too bad, it couldn't perform like this one. But we are, let's see, we are in somewhat of a supportive area. I'll give it a chance. Let's see what happens here. But this is what you're going to deal with. Keep in mind, time of day, even though this thing is bullish and this and that, I'm still not participating here in the ideal time of day. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I mean, it's almost 4:30. The stock market's closed. This usually is not the best time to be looking for momentum in Bitcoin, right? You want to be where the action is, like 9:30, right? The stock market open, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Where it's just after lunch. Sometimes at night, like the Asian market open, 8 o'clock at night. These are all Eastern time. 4 a.m., 3 a.m. London open. That's usually when you get some action, right? Where there's momentum, there's volume. Those are ideal day trade times, not this time. So dealing with this kind of erratic nonsense, man, my short would have been nice if I stayed short, right? But anyway, all right, I'm going to have to blow this out very soon. Let's see. I'm getting some warnings, so I'm trying to give this a chance. I'm trying to be patient with it. Not happening here. Market's like, nope. You're caught. Trying to be patient. Got some warning. See, I mean, look at this. This is a 30-second chart. It's going to be very jumpy. Give it a couple more minutes. All right. Any questions? So again, if you're interested in the Trade Scanner Pro, test it out. Like I said before, it's free. I like this pin bar. Free trial for 14 days. You can cancel anytime. Free means you don't pay anything. Okay? I don't like, what baffles me? I have this free trial. The price of the scanner is cheap to begin with, in my opinion. $30 a month is not a lot. If that's a lot of money, you're in the wrong game. Sorry to say, but you're in the wrong game. It's free, and you can cancel at any time. Try it out for 14 days. I don't understand why people are not running the sign-ups. Like sign-ups should be like a no-brainer. I don't get it. Maybe that's just me complaining. I don't know. Like, where do you not see the value? Is what I wonder. Like, maybe I'm just not doing something right. Maybe I'm not explaining something the right way. Maybe it's because I'm not making $1 billion in a trade. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Okay, now let's tell you something interesting here. This, again, this goes back to context, right? This and this is what? Let's see if you guys are paying attention. Let's see who's paying attention here. What is this? What is this? And what is this? Anyone want to guess? Stian, try to let other people answer it. Oh, look, a signal. All right, I'm going to put one or more. I almost banged out of this thing. All right, I now have 4 contracts. You should use a poster. Oh, yeah. Stian, you know what suggestion Stian tells me when I complain to him about this? He says, maybe you should wear a Spider-Man costume and maybe people will pay more attention to you. You know what? He's right. Maybe I should wear a Spider-Man costume. Maybe I'll get more views that way. Okay. All right. Anyone? What is this? What was I just pointing out here? Anyone? I know Steen knows the answer, but try to let someone else answer. Monica, how about you? What am I pointing out? What am I? I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna leave the arrows there. What is this relative to this? What is that? What am I pointing at there? What do those arrows represent? Anyone? So I'll tell you, that's what kept me in this trade. Anyone? Besides the fact that the trend is bullish, still bullish. What are these arrows referring to? All right, Steen, I guess you're going to have to answer it. Come on, people. I gave you an opportunity to answer that question. See, Steen knows all the answers. So that's why I asked him to like just let someone else answer. Well, support, yes. But what is this pattern? I'll give you a hint. It's a classical chart pattern. What is that? It is support. But what is that? Here, I'm going to give it away. Watch. When I draw this, you're going to know. Reversal, Monica says. Ooh, that's not a good looking candle. Double bottom. Steen got it. This entire formation. It's a double bottom. This is what kept me in that trade. I don't know. I may still get banged out of it, though. It's a double bottom. Okay, so a double bottom in a bullish trend is certainly a welcome pattern, right? That's knowing context. Now, look, I initially asked, you guys weren't coming out with the answer right away. I mean, Steen said support, that was close, but I was pointing to these two bottoms, which is a double bottom, right? And that's context. You guys, it took you a little while to notice. I noticed it instantly. I was like, because I'm always looking for things like that. Now, I don't know if this trade is going to work out. I was feeling really cool there for a moment. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. And then we got this candle. That's what the market does. All right, I'm feeling cool again. Where's my Spider-Man costume? I'm going to put a Spider-Man costume on. The trailing stop is trying to help me out here, right? The trailing stop is reduced my risk. Now, I'm hoping that we can pop up above this little minor trouble point. I'm not even going to call that a resistance. It's too minor. Maybe we can get up into here in this area, and I'll sell some. I got 4 on. Now, keep in mind, I took a big chance. I started getting long here, and I held on throughout all of this. Why? Because the general trend, the trend is bullish, and I'm being aggressive on the side of the trend, right? Okay. Would you believe I'm still negative? Okay, so my break-even point is like right here. Man, this thing sucks. And I have a nice trade on here. So that means I need this to go a little extra. Or you know what I'll do? Maybe I'll reduce my risk. I'll get rid of 1. This is a 30-second chart, so it's going to be very erratic. Do I have anything on a 1 minute? Let's see. Oh, look, there's a trade on a 1 minute. Okay. So I'll give, you know what? I'm going to track this on the 1 minute. See, if I was watching my 1 minute, I probably would have had a slightly better entry. Well, my entry would have been up here. But look where my warning was on the 1 minute. Here's that double bottom that we were just talking about on the 30-second. You see that? That's a classical chart pattern. Beautiful. Usually if you get a double bottom or a failed low, chances are it's going to attempt. I don't know how far this is going to go, but there's a chance that it's going to reverse and try to test a resistance, which would be these levels up here. I'm not expecting it to go that far. I'll be happy to get out earlier. You see how my mindset is? If you sit here and you're like, well, I'm going to hold it all the way up to here because that's where it's going to go, because I can feel it. If that's you, the market is going to fleece you. You're going to be fleeced. Okay? Okay, cool. I want to sign off. Believe me, I do. I don't want to keep you here all day, but I keep taking these trades and you see what happens. I keep streaming. Are you guys happy with the stream? All right. What I want to see this thing do is pop up into this area. I'm not even looking for this. Do you see how conservative I am? I'm not even looking for this. I don't let greed drive my decisions. What I'm looking for is risk. Like if I'm like struggling, like this trade is struggling, I'm not even positive on it. If it's struggling, it's like, okay, I'm looking to reduce risk. Now, that's not always the best choice. Sometimes I miss some big moves. Sometimes I leave a lot of money on the table. That's going to happen. But I don't let that bother me, because I'd rather leave money on the table than get blown out of an account, which I've done plenty of times. Okay, so I'd rather leave money on the table than wipe out the money in my account. That's the way I look at it. Okay, the market is just, if the market goes my way here, it's giving me a gift. But man, see what time of day, man, this thing stinks. It just can't keep the party going here, right? But of course, you know that if I short this, if I go nuts and I short this, you know we're going to see this, right? You know we're going to see that. As I put on my Spider-Man costume. All right, give this thing a couple more minutes because the trend is bullish. I'm trying to give the trend a chance here. Just give it a chance. As you can see, patience is a key thing. And we're dealing minute to minute, 30 seconds. We're looking at, we're working on very small time frames. Imagine the patience you have to have on an hourly chart or on a 15-minute chart. What about the daily time frame when this thing called long at 62.9 whatever, and it pulled back a couple of thousand points on the daily time frame, and then it went to 70K. I mean, that required a lot of patience, but there was opportunity that you could have built the position in there if you're more advanced. Okay, good. I like this move here. We have a higher low, right? I like that. So maybe we pop up into this little area right here. Oh, I guess not. I spoke too soon. They're like, wait a minute. Is this thing going his way? Turn it around. Turn it around. Give it a bearish pin bar. He said higher low. Forget it. We're bearish. See how that works? They can hear me. MEXC can hear me. They can hear what I'm saying. They're following my stream. The market maker is following my stream. Now they're going to stop me out. Oh, wait. I know something about this. Hold on. Just define the laws of physics. 97 patents he holds for innovational and still for real people taking loads of time. That's interesting that you bring that up. I saw some stuff about that. I don't know, it's all I can tell you is there's a lot of gullible people out there that just want something to believe because I don't know what to tell you. Oh, I watched this one podcast with these two scientists. These guys were scientists and they're sitting there and they're like, well, we can appreciate how curious he is and he's very motivated, and they were trying to put every positive spin they possibly could on this. And like, but I'm afraid it's just incorrect. Like they felt bad about saying that this stuff was just like, I couldn't believe it. It's like, are you nuts? We do live in clown world. This is clown world. Welcome to clown world. All right. Anyway, yeah, Monica, I know that's funny. It's very funny. Well, so, but some people do take him seriously. And he's giving you that. I'm trying to give you something that at least helps you. Anyway, thanks for the aside. All right. I know I've been talking way too long here. How are we doing with time? I'm hoping this trade now could cooperate a little bit. You see, the market maker got busy with something else. So like, oh yeah, we have something else to take care of. They get a phone call or something. Now the market's going back up. The conspiracy theory, right? And I was talking over here. I'm like, yeah, I'm big and bad. This trade is working. Oh, look, they're listening again. Like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We can't make this guy look good. Turn this thing around. Turn it around. Go to the stop. When it was up here, I was like, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. And it's like, no, you're not. You are not cool. And then this candle started until I said something, right? We were going green. I'm like, okay, I'm getting cool again. And they're like, no, you're not. Red candle. I'm just fooling around. It's time of day. This is called random erratic price action. Markets are random, right? And as you can see, it takes a long time for this thing to do anything. I mean, if this thing, I'm going to draw a little box. If this thing can pop up to here, which is not asking for much, if it could pop up to there, I'm green. Okay? That's all I'm looking for. I don't think that's asking for a lot, especially in the face of a bullish trend. I don't even need this. Right now, if this was a more volume-oriented time of day, like 9:30 or something, and momentum was flowing, and I see the NASDAQ pushing highs and blah, 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 I would be looking for a break of this. Do you see how do you see the contrast? Like this time of day, there's no momentum. Anything can happen here. This is just a bunch of noise we're playing with. But if there's momentum flowing in other markets, chances are it's going to flow here too. And since the trend is bullish, I'd be looking for a test of highs. I would be giving it a chance to go up to these levels because of the time of day. Understand, the time of day is what changes my decision, not the price action on the chart. Okay, so time of day is a form of context. And it's especially important for day traders. If you're looking at bigger picture, like 1 hour or 4 hour, things like that, time of day is not going to be as important, although it can be helpful. But for when you're working minute to minute, time of day is extremely important. That's why I do not trade real money at this time. For example, you can see here, this is what happens when you try to do that. Okay, sometimes I make money. Other times, this is what you're dealing with. All right. I'm going to be signing off here in a moment. Let's see. I'm going to see the next candle or two. I know I keep saying that. Next candle or two. The next, if I get a pop of green or something, little greenish something, anything, I'll get out. I'm hoping I don't have to bang this thing out at the stop. I may have to, though. Clues that I don't like to see here. This is a lower high. That's not good. This is a lower high. That's not good either. It doesn't mean that the trend is bearish. It just means we're consolidating. Because look, we have lower highs, but we don't have lower lows. Not yet. Right? We still have these. We can argue this is range bound. This is not exactly a lower low. Maybe we make a lower low soon, but we're not there yet. So until we do that, I have to anticipate that we will hold. Because why? Why should the support? Why should I give the support a chance to hold? Anyone want to answer that question? Now the support may break, but why should I give it a chance to hold, like I've been trying to do here? Let's see. And Steve, try to let someone else answer that. Why? Why should I let? Here's the question: Why should I give the chance the support to hold? Why should I give support a chance to hold? Anyone want to answer that? I'll wait. It doesn't look good right now, but I can't judge on what I see. I have to judge on the location, what's likely to happen at the location. That's what I'm judging on, not what I see. I don't like that. May go to the stop here. Let me prepare to bang out. It might stop out. It might not. Let's see. Now, if this stops out, I'll have to, I'm not going to continue, but I'll tell you what I will do. I stopped out. Okay. Oh, I just bought more. That's not what I want. I want to get out. Okay, I'm out. This thing's breaking. Okay, now, what I was going to say is, man, good thing I got out, right? I was just trying to sit here and explain why we should give the chance of support to hold. The support broke. In these situations, it's possible that this is a fake out, but I'm not going to buy now. This thing may break. I'm not going to chase it. I'm not going to react. So if this thing broke like this, right, it's breaking. The next candle gives me this, I'd be willing to get back in. If this thing reverses hard like that in this thing's face, right? See, like I was trying to turn right there, but I'm not going to get in now. There's no warning. There's nothing, but we're still, we may have broken the level temporarily, but if it recovers quickly, then it's still a long, right? That's what you have to realize. If it does that, it's still a long, but I'm not going to take the chance, right? Unless I got the whole signal set up and all that stuff. But you're better off taking the loss and then getting back in. That's the point. The trend is still bullish, as you can see. But those shorts from earlier were nice. Let's see, was there any counter trend? Was the counter trend still active in that? Let's see. No, the original counter trend got stopped out. There were no new ones on the 1 minute. Okay. Well, so much for the trend trade. All right. Any questions? I'm not going to take any more trades. Any questions? So again, if you want to try the Trade Scanner Pro out, this is, again, bad time of day. I would try to demonstrate some stuff here, but market just doesn't want to cooperate. If you want to try this thing out for yourself, simply go to the link. Let me go back to my link. I'll share it on the screen here. The link is also in the description. Okay, hold on. Where's my link? Here it is. The link is also in the description. That'll take you to this page here, this page right here, and it'll explain to you how it works. And you can simply sign up for your 14-day free trial by scrolling to the middle of the page and clicking on this button right here. Okay. For the year, it's $22.50 a month. It's not a lot of money. Comes to $270 for the year. And for the monthly, it's $30. You simply fill out this form. You put in your TradingView username here. Most important. And make sure it's your username, not your email. And then I can send you the invite. Okay. And you can try it out for 14 days. And you can cancel any time. Paper trade. And tell me how it goes. Okay. I don't always show profitable examples here because the market doesn't always cooperate, but hopefully I gave you the mindset so that you know how you have to adjust and what to look for and what to wait for and how to use counter trend mode. This is all very advanced for day traders. If you're a beginner or you're newer, try this on a 15-minute chart. Let's just go there real quick, right? Start with a 15-minute chart and work with this first. Signals are going to be less frequent. I mean, look at this. Hours go by between signals. Give that a try. Maybe go to a 5-minute chart. You have to figure out what time frame you want to work on. And then start practicing with context. Look for support and resistance levels. That's the best way to start. Just look for support and resistance levels and then anticipate what is likely to happen there in the future. I was right about this resistance. I just started going long aggressively. And, as you can see, the resistance won. Right? I should have been a little more sensitive to that as I started out with. All right. Anyway. All right. So good session, everyone. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, you know where you can find me. You can send me an email, mark@markpmarkets.com. You can message me in the Discord community, private message me. If you get a message from me first, that means it's not me. It's most likely an impersonator. Block that person, report that person. I don't ask you for money in private messages or anything like that, okay? Or I don't send you to weird websites or anything else. If I send you anywhere, it's to this website. And again, I usually don't initiate those messages. Okay, anyway, just wanted to mention that. You can also message me on TradingView. All right, just Mark P Markets. You can find my profile on there and send me messages there. I can respond to them as well. All right, so I hope you found this helpful. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world, and thank you very much for watching.